Into the bridge scandal, Democratic Assemblyman John Wisniewski, and from Palm Beach, Florida this morning, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, a close ally of Governor Christie. I'll get to you in just a minute. Mayor Giuliani, let me start with Assemblyman Wisniewski. You hear this charge by the Hoboken mayor. How much weight do you give it at this point?
Mayor Zimmer is a serious voice. She's a well-respected mayor in New Jersey. I think we have to give the allegation serious thought because it is a pattern that we've heard time and time again throughout New Jersey. She's perhaps one of the first mayors to actually come forward and say this specific thing happened. I think the committee needs to look at the facts, hear her story, look at the emails, and consider where we go next.
Here's a response from Governor Christie that I want to put up on the screen. Governor Christie and his entire administration have been helping Hoboken get the help they need after Sandy, with the city already having been approved for nearly $70 million in federal aid and is targeted to get even more when the Obama administration approves the next rounds of funding. The governor and Mayor Zimmer have had a productive relationship, with Mayor Zimmer even recently saying she's, quote, very glad he's been our governor. It's very clear partisan politics are at play here as Democratic mayors with a political axe to grind come out of the woodwork to try to get their faces on television. You just described it as a pattern you're hearing more and more of. The only pattern that's been in evidence here with the governor reelected is how much support he's had from elected Democrats in your state.
Well, and Mayor Zimmer was one of those elected Democrats early on who has always said very nice things and said that Governor Christie has done a lot of good stuff.
They held back until he looked weakened by this other issue?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what caused Mayor Zimmer to wait till now, but clearly the allegation that she was asked to support a redevelopment project where there was funding from the Port Authority, which we're investigating, in turn for her getting money for her municipality, raises serious allegations. We don't know where it goes. We don't know if there's more to it, but I think it's something the committee has to consider as part of the overall investigation.
So here's one of the criticisms of you thus far.
Sure.
Is that there's a rush to judgment here. You're a Democrat. You used to run the state party.
That's true.
You've got the National Democratic Party piggybacking on allegations and on aspects of this investigation. You've issued very broad subpoenas. And you've said that it's hard for you to believe that Governor Christie didn't know that his top staff was ordering those lanes to be closed on the George Washington Bridge. Isn't this kind of stacked against him here?
No, it's not. First of all, this investigation started out because of a toll increase on the George Washington Bridge and other Port Authority crossings. We were looking at the finances and operation of the Port Authority. Somebody closed lanes from Fort Lee during that. We started asking questions about the lane closures, and suddenly we're looking at emails where somebody in the governor's inner circle sent an email to close those lanes for clearly what are not governmental purposes. This story, interestingly enough, didn't start with Democrats. It started with the Wall Street Journal, hardly a liberal paper, that started questioning what happened with the George Washington Bridge lane closures. And we followed this step by step. There's been no rush to judgment. I've said time and time again.
You say no rush to judgment, respectfully. You've talked about the specter of impeachment. Before you've gathered all this information.
What I've said, David, is there's absolutely no document that connects the governor to this. His office is connected, not him. I've said that talking about impeachment is premature. There's no connection that he knew or that he directed it. What we do know is that someone senior in his staff sent an email to close the lanes. We know that senior people in his staff were involved in trying to do damage control and come up with the cover story for it. And so we have lots of questions. And I have said that with all of his senior people in the midst of a re-election year, it's hard to believe that he knew nothing until January 8th.
What's the end game then? A very broad subpoena for the office of the governor. Presumably you want any communication that would indicate he had direct knowledge to shut down those lanes. Is that what you're after?
No, what we want to know, first of all, it's a legislative inquiry. We're not a prosecutorial agency. We want to make sure this can't happen again. The fact that 4 people have lost their jobs over it doesn't stop this kind of abuse from happening again. So we have to change the laws. The only way we can do that is to find out how it could happen in the first place. The subpoenas help us get to the root cause of who told Bridget Kelly she could send this email. Why would she send it? It seemed to be a preordained conversation because reading that email, you don't get any other conclusion that there was a communication before then.
Here's what I really want to know.
Sure.
Is Chris Christie a bully who abused power? Or are you seeking to criminalize the rough and tumble of New Jersey politics?
No. I mean, New Jersey politics is rough and tumble, and that's not going to change. But abusing power should not be condoned. You know, everybody mistrusts government. And when things like this happen, it only gives them another reason to say, there they go again. And so we have to make sure that it can't happen again. And that's the one way we restore trust in government. But this is not preordained, and we have no connection to Governor Christie. We're going to look to see who else in his office knew. We're going to follow the trail where it leads step by step.
All right. Assemblyman, thank you very much for your time.
David, thank you.
I appreciate it very much. Let me turn now to the former mayor of New York City, Republican presidential candidate as well, Rudy Giuliani, who is with us from Palm Beach this morning. Mr. Mayor, welcome.
Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm well.
Thank you.